Hello and welcome back to another Bad Movie Reviews review hosted by your favourite man that is all together, Ben from Down Under. And I'm reviewing a film that is a seriously sleeper hit that I think's come out of nowhere for you sickos out there, you horror fans, and that is none other than Together. Now, this film, I just want to give a shout out, fellow Melbourne man myself. It is written and directed by Michael Shanks, who is another man from Melbourne. The film was, funnily enough, directed not far from where I live. So seeing, V-line trains and certain things in the film that only Melbourne people will know felt very funny. But it is a film starring none other than Dave Franco and Alison Brie, who are obviously married in real life and a real life couple. And the film is basically set into their relationship. They have an opportunity to move in a little town for a teaching internship kind of thing. And it's basically about codependency and a relationship on the rocks and the dangers of codependency, which I'm sure, couples out there, people out there would know exactly what that can potentially look like. And it's a seriously fun little movie. I don't know exactly what I was expecting because I've seen obviously the trailers and obviously body horror aspects. I've heard some reviews out there, but I had a genuine, really fun time with this. I think this really nails that body horror kind of little niche. I mean, body horror is definitely making its way back. Obviously, we got The Substance last year, but I genuinely just had a really fun time with this. I think this film really benefits from Dave Franco and Alison Brie's chemistry, which is, obviously they're going to have, but it really works. And the body horror aspect and the horror aspect almost felt not sidelined, but almost felt like a thing that's obviously in play here, but it wasn't the whole film. It was very much a film about the codependency and the horrors of what that can look like and almost becoming one, which funnily enough is obviously the idea. But I didn't expect to have this much fun with it because it is genuinely actually a very funny film. I think it's written really well. It is very funny, and that thankfully to Dave Franco's comedic ability and his ability to deliver lines at the time and his comedic timing is very good, and I think it benefits from the script as well as the cast it's got. And I think Alison Brie is also very fantastic in the film and the whole supporting cast. But it is obviously gross. I think it really blended the visual effect plus the prosthetics and that side of things really well. It blended well. None of it looked awfully fake in any way, shape, or form. And I thought that really nailed it with the tone and the actual film itself. It kind of lent into that, which I think really worked. And I think the fact that it is amusing, the fact that there are a few jump scares, there are a few creepy moments along with the body horror. It's not just like gross. There are a few like interesting horror kind of element seen in there. And I think it really worked. But overall, I genuinely just had a really good time with this. I'm not the biggest horror fan or body horror fan, but when they're done well, I think it is the harder, and I've said this before, I think it is the hardest. This is obviously more an interesting film because it's almost more about a couple on the rocks with those elements, if anything. But I think they're a really hard genre to do well and to make. And props to, obviously, I got to give respect because I really root for Australian cinema, and I think it's a fantastic entry in that department. Obviously, it's set in America. I got American cast and set in America in a way. But I really just it is somewhat sensual. It is somewhat romantic at times with the body horror. I think it just perfectly merges these like four different genres and almost has something to tell as well, where it is almost a warning of codependent relationships and what that can look like. And I think it just really worked, thankfully, to this cast and even the direction. There are a couple of really unique elements and body horror aspects that really worked and I think really shown. And I actually really liked the way it ended as well. That's probably my my big worry with horror films or films like this, sometimes they never feel like they land the ending. And I thought this film really worked for me in that regard. So I got to give props to the cast. I think it's Dave Franco and Alison Brie's best performance that I've seen them in. I think I've really only seen Dave Franco in a lot of obviously comedy. I haven't actually seen him in too much lately from top of my head, but Alison Brie I thought also really was great in the role of someone who is codependent, but also just kind of over the rocky situations, and it reins you back in. But I had a ball with this. I can't recommend it enough to someone who wants a fun little gross movie that's got your comedic moments, and it really works. But if you have seen it, comment below, let me know what you think. If you like the review, please give it a like, subscribe for more, and we'll see you next time.